Hi students, I'm Dr. Jensen. I'm in the biology department at Brigham Young University, and I know there's a lot of misinformation that's been circulating about concerning the COVID vaccines. And so I just made this quick, and I'm going to try to go as fast as I can. Little video clip just to give you the facts, right? Just to help you understand what the facts are so you can make a more informed decision about the vaccine. And so the newest vaccines that are out are called mRNA vaccines. And so if you'll remember central dogma, right, we're talking about this messenger RNA that codes for proteins. And so basically what's going on is that they're giving you an injection. Instead of a normal vaccine would give you an injection of the attenuated virus. So they take the virus itself, this is the COVID virus, and they would chop off like the spike protein, and that's what they would inject into you. This is the same idea. The only difference is they're giving you the actual messenger RNA to build the spike protein. So your body builds the spike protein. Then the rest of immunity is the same as it would be with any other vaccine. It's just actually a lot more accurate and faster to do. And so what they're doing, the process is they inject the messenger RNA. It's got a special coating around it that helps it localize to the lymph nodes. And so it's just localizing to the lymph node closest to the injection site. It's probably your axillary or armpit lymph node. And that's the only place it goes. It's not going all over your body. It's just going in this one area. And then once in there, it gives in the mRNA. The mRNA makes a protein, the spike protein, from the virus. And then the mRNA is quickly destroyed. mRNAs don't last very long in your body. The protein itself is also chopped up, and it gets presented in the major histocompatibility complex. This is your immune system, your cell's ways of saying, I'm infected with a virus, you need to come respond to this. And then you get your primary or your secondary, your specific immunity that happens, and you create an antibody to this particular spike protein. So it's the same way that other viruses work. It's just one step back. We're giving you the mRNA. The nice thing is the mRNA doesn't stick around very long, neither does the protein. All we're doing is giving you that immunity. So, 6 months from now, the vaccine is not even existent anymore in your system. You just have immunity to COVID. So how do we know if these things are safe and effective? Well, Pfizer's done vaccine trials, so has Moderna. Those are the two that have come out, but I'm going to go through the Pfizer vaccine trial really quickly. So they had two groups of people, a test group and a control group. They both had 21,720-ish people in them. The test subjects received 2 doses of the vaccine, 21 days apart. The control subjects received 2 doses of saline as a placebo, 21 days apart. And then they just watched for incidents of COVID infection. Obviously, it would not be ethical to actually expose them to COVID, so we just had to wait and see if they would get COVID. And in the test group, only 8 people got COVID and only 1 was severe. In the control group, 162 people got COVID and 9 were severe. So that's a 95% reduction in cases. This is very good evidence that this vaccine is extremely effective at protecting you from COVID infection. Then you might have heard the rumor that it causes Bell's palsy. Is this true? Well, this is how we figured these things out. So the control subjects, surprisingly, nobody got Bell's palsy. In the test subjects, 4 people got Bell's palsy, and you might be thinking, oh my goodness, that's 4 extra people that got Bell's palsy that wasn't in the control. But if you look at the general public, for a population the size of our test sample, we should have gotten 25 to 35 people on average that get Bell's palsy every year. And we didn't, we only got 4. So the 4 versus 0 is within the margin of error. 4 versus 25 and 35, however, is a pretty big difference. And so it's not causing Bell's palsy just because those 4 test subjects got it. They would have gotten it anyway, likely, just in the course of time because of normal incidence of Bell's palsy. The other thing you might be worried about is side effects. I know there have been a lot of reports of side effects, and so I went ahead and looked at the side effects in the given trial for the Pfizer vaccine versus side effects for a general flu vaccine that you might get. And it turns out that when we give a vaccine, we want to make sure your immune system doesn't miss the vaccine because we want you to build immunity. So we add in what's called adjuvants. These are things that make the immune system react more strongly so that you won't miss it. And those adjuvants tend to cause what we call a non-specific immune response. This is like if you get a splinter or a cut. You get swelling, redness, achy, fluid, fever sometimes. those are all non-specific, and that just means your immune system has recognized that there's something it needs to build immunity to. And so you want that in a way, because it will indicate that the vaccine is working. And so we do see that this particular vaccine tends to cause a little bit higher incidence of these non-specific immune responses. So 85% of people do get swelling at the injection site. And then we've got a smattering of people that do get kind of symptoms of the flu. And this can happen to people who get a flu vaccine too. This is just how strongly your immune system reacts. All of these symptoms were mild. They all resolved within 24 hours. There have been a few cases of anaphylaxis, which is an allergic reaction, but we get that with other vaccines as well. And so that's not unusual. So there's not been any higher incidence of anything crazy coming out of this vaccine. I just want you to know that this vaccine has been tested. No corners were cut. Everything has gone the way that we normally do with vaccines. Because it's an mRNA vaccine, it actually goes a little faster because of how accurate it is. And so you should not be concerned in any way about this vaccine hurting you. Now, do you get it or not? It's really a decision that's up to you. You have to decide that the maybe 24 hours potentially of feeling crummy is worth not getting COVID and feeling crummy for several weeks or ending up in the hospital. Now, there are lots of people that are high risk or working in high risk professions. I think they deserve to get the vaccine first. And so I would say if you're a healthy young college student and you're worried, by all means, go get the vaccine. But there are people that should get the vaccine before you, since you are such a low risk category. But if you have the opportunity, once everybody else high risk has gotten it and you've got the opportunity to get the vaccine, it's certainly not going to hurt you. Now, if you've already had COVID, you have immunity. So then you just have to decide, the vaccine's probably not going to do much for you. You've already got immunity to the virus. Occasionally, like 1 in a million, someone will make weird immunity from the actual virus, and then the vaccine could give you better immunity. But that's a pretty rare case. And so if you've already had it, I wouldn't run out to get it. If you've already had COVID, I wouldn't run out to get the vaccine. But if you haven't, if you get the opportunity, you should get the vaccine. It's not going to hurt you. So I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.